Alright, what you're seeing there is a vein of gold, you see? You see that? That's gold. You see that? There's another quartz vein, they call it. And believe it or not, that is a literal blood vessel. Now, it's a vein or an artery. It's one or the other. And what happens is in mud fossils, the gold collects in certain areas, and then it solidifies because it settles. Now, I'm going to show you how to find gold in copious quantities. And I'm not going to just tell you right away. You're going to have to watch the video, and I'm going to interject some things in here that are going to you're going to have to find very, very difficult to believe, but they're true. And that is what leads to this result that I will show you. But you can see, this is very easy for you to see once you understand mud fossils. That is blood. That's blood. It's FeO3 blood, it looks like, which is the red blood. So which would indicate this was an arterial passage, an arterial vessel, which has no clamps to cut it off. And in the vein blood, what you would see is a black blood, and it would be solid because they don't blow out. Like this is an arterial passageway, there is no question, because they blow out from the compression of the body during the death process. And when they blow out, they refill with quartz. And they may fill with gold too, and other precious metals. But I'm going to show you how to do this, but you're going to have to listen to this entire video. And the way I'm going to enforce you listen to the entire video is I'm going to have 15 words in here. Alright, listen to be careful now. There's going to be 15 words. They're just going to pop up here and there. I'm going to say a word. And I'm going to give you a number of it. Like 7 is whatever it's going to be. And then at the end, I'm going to say, here's the way the sequence works. 7, 3, 8, 15, 20, whatever the numbers are. And you're going to put them together, and that's where you're going to find your gold. Alright, just so you understand the size of the creatures we're dealing with, I'm going to play this video that I made a while back, and you'll see the size. You see this right here? That's a tendon strap. That's a tendon ball. That's a tendon strap. That's a tendon ball in us. Now let's play it and you'll hear. Alright, just to get you started here, I have found mud fossils and have had them DNA tested, and I'm going to show you all that business in a little minute. But they are giant creatures, and mine were human tested. Some of them were over 200 feet tall. And this right here is a tendon strap, and that is an enthesis ball. And this layer was the layer of tissue that ball embedded in and anchored tendon, and that is also another ball, and there are numerous ones here, and they are identical to this that you see right up here. These are the same things that embed in flesh. Alright, just to stop right here, that's the balls, that's the ball. These are the straps that run back. You can't see them, but these little straps run back. That's the strap. This right here was the flesh mat, but that has eroded away. Normally it's the other way around. The balls erode. But this time the flesh mat eroded, and that is a flesh mat. And here it goes. And here is one in a micro shot right here. You see that? Right, that's the same ball. That is the ball right there. Let me see if I can bring that up a little better. You see this? That is the ball. Alright, that's the strap. Alright, so there's no need to go any further here. What you just saw was something that is hundreds of thousands of times bigger than we are. That is from a creature that was walking around consuming oxygen, and it collected blood in its body in vessels, and some of that blood contained gold. And I know where that blood is that contains the gold, and I'm going to tell you. And your first word is huge. And that's number 12. Alright, this is Mud Fossil University. It's on YouTube, and that is the site that I have developed. I mean, it's very, very poorly done, I agree. However, it is informational, and that's all I had expected to achieve. So it's Mud Fossil University. Zillions of videos up here. This is the one we were just watching. Can soft organic tissue turn to stone instantly? Let's see. There is enormous amounts of information here that we are being denied, that is very, very obvious and simple, and I'm making people aware of this. And your second word is electrum, number 15. Alright, so write that down, electrum, number 15. Now, we found new species, we found all kinds, well, I'm doing the research, and I found all these things, and I have confirmed them by DNA tests and CAT scans and anatomists and all that stuff. So it's not something that I'm just guessing at. This is no question whatsoever. What I'm saying is a fact. And we found, well, you know, I noticed these things in even like this. You see this right here? That's a Egyptian statue, not a mummy, a statue. And there's people inside these statues. It's absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'm sorry, that's just what it is. And this was the statue. And here he is. You see it? So I'm not making these things up. These are all facts that have been overlooked. And they're facts that relate to our actual history and the truth of what we're all about. And here's your next word, plateau, number 1. Alright? Now, is this just a curiosity? Is this just something fun to look at? No, it's not. There's a lot more than just fun to look at here. This is our history. And right now, we think our history goes back a few hundred years, really. I mean, almost nothing. And that's insane. And well, it might not even be insane. You may be correct. We may only go back a very short time. But we may go back a very long time. I have stuff here on my channel that that talks about kings lists. Around here somewhere, we can find that. There was a kings list found that had 450,000 years old. That was recorded all of the different kings for the last series, Sumerian kings list. And here's what it looks like. And Velikovsky talks about all kinds of things happening in the atmosphere that were recorded, and we think they're funny. Well, I don't think they're funny, and I think we're missing a whole lot, and I think we've been misled, and we're being misled by the teachers that we trust. All right? And God talks about that. And here's your next word, artery, number 9, artery, number 9. All right? Now, if we're being misled about our past, why? Well, I don't know why, but I think it says in all the ancient texts that we are going to be misled, and we're going to be misled so that we can be taken to hell. And I'm taking that seriously, because every single thing that I have found indicates that it is exactly what is stated in the Bible. Not close, exact. Jesus was born in space. His body fell to earth and fed the Israelites in the desert, which he stated out of his own lips and said, "That was me, that was my body. I truly, truly tell you, I came from heaven and fed your fathers in the desert." And they thought he was insane. But it was the placenta from his birth, from the dragon and the lady, and I have found the dragon. So let's look at that. Alright, the giant creatures they talked about in the Bible are all over the earth. You see this? That's some form of a fish. You see that right here? You see all this in his little mouth and his little fin up here? Now watch, I'm going to play this and you see what you see. There's a dragon biting his fin. Right up there's a dragon. Alright, you see I'm pointing to the scales and the fin and everything. And then you look above there. You watch what I'm going to focus in. And you're going to see all kind of snaky looking nasty stuff that he's spitting out all over that fish, trying to destroy him with whatever nastiness that is. All right, and that nastiness is coming right out of his throat, and that throat is completely lined with dragon scales. And there's his eye. I'm going to point to. See that throat I'm pointing to there? Zip, zip right down, and then that's his throat. And then we're going to go in and zoom in on his eye and take a look at that flashy looking eye. That's his head, this whole thing up here at the top. That eye, where do you see what it looks like? It's a flaring eye and flaming eye, and that's what you see in these dragons. And then look at all this flashy, fluty looking stuff. That is exactly what you see in dragons, and they are honored in the Eastern cultures, especially in Hong Kong, a place like that, in China. Now that's his head. And that was, you see the whole thing there, and that was his eye. That's that fluty looking stuff. And then he's got all this little fuzzy stuff that goes along the side of that, and that you see that too. And then this is his back. There's all this flary stuff coming down, and this little fuzzy stuff, and the little flutes going down the side. And it happens on you see those in all the dragons from history. Now this is his throat. It never stops. And I mean, it goes and goes and goes. There's a little pouchy thing down there, but I think that might be for the stuff he spits at people, set them on fire. Now, you see how the dragon scales. You don't see that. I mean, and I think that might be the pouchy thing he uses to spit stuff out. Now, then it just keeps going and going and going and going and going until it gets to his stomach. And now we're down around in his stomach area, and you know, this is all gooped up inside of there. But whatever happens down there is just, it's all dragon stuff. I mean, it's all part of one big gigantic dragon. And you can see what I'm showing here. If you can come up with that, that's just oh well, it just sort of grew that way. No, it didn't. And I can show you that there is so much evidence that this thing is not even old. This happened not long ago. You see that? That's the residue that's running off of him. That doesn't run off of something, you know, that thing is not that old. And it goes down and down and down, and this is his body right here. These are his legs. All this red is blood. Blood is red. Blood is red. It's ferrous oxide. And the cells turn into sand. And we're going down his back, all the way down his tail. His tail goes way out over here. And I'm going to zoom in down here and show you. See the same stuff? The same pattern of the death running off. Same distances. Same bodily fluids running out. Same dragon scales. This is his tail. So anyway, that's the story with the dragons. All of this stuff is real. And the gold is collected in these gigantic creatures because there is gold in every creature's blood. It is an absolute essential necessity. Now, let me give you another word, and the next word is should. Should, and that's number 10. Alright, so let's go a little deeper into this about blood chemistry, because I want you to understand all this stuff. And then I want you to understand what it really means to you, because it means a hell of a lot to you, my friend. So you better listen and listen close, because I'm doing this. You find all gold you want. I don't have not a bit of care whatsoever about the gold. And I'll tell you why I don't care, and I will tell you why I'm doing this. Because I gave this a lot of thought. This was a big, deep, long decision. Everybody's asked me, oh, where do I find a gold? Where do I find this and diamonds and all this business? Well, I know where all this stuff is. But I don't, it's not for me. It's not anything about that. So anyway, but this time, I'm going to give you this shot, and you can all go do what you want. I want to see how you handle it and see what happens. So, and maybe I'm wrong. Let's see what happens. You see this? This is my mud fossil that I have right here in my shop. And you see that? That's the stalk of the tendon enthesis. And that right there is the stalk of the tendon enthesis, which is on top of Comet 67P. Comets are spewing out organic stuff. NASA agrees it's 100% organic. It's so complex, they said, that they have no idea what to think about it. And they can't even give it a name, is what they say. It's too complex to give it a name. It's life. It is the life that is gassing off as it is being cooked in the sunlight. And that's why when it comes into sun, it starts shooting out of all of these little blood vessels. And that's what they are, is blood vessels. And inside of them there is literal moisture. And that squirts out just like it was cooking on a grill. That's as simple as it gets. And that's Comet 67P. They know it's alive. I've sent it over and over and over to NASA and JPL and all of these, everybody that's involved. And they say, oh, you can't be sure of anything, you don't know what you're doing. And then they just stop communicating. And every single one of them handles everything the same way. They can't deal with it. They dismiss it. Okay, by the way, I don't know where to find gems and so forth easily. The gold, I can tell you where very easily. And I'm not pinpointing so you can just go out there and get it. You know, you got to dig. I'm not saying you're going to just go out and pick it up off the ground, but you're going to have to get a bulldozer and some tractor trailers to haul it out of there. And I can tell you that right now because it's going to be enormous. Now, these right here, you see these? That is the stones that are a Baalbek. Those are what is called tendon fibrils, and they go right down here to an abrupt transition, just like that. They snap just like they were little blocks of stone, which they are. Now I'm going to run this. Anyway, it goes into this part. This was a video of a video. I got 2 pointers going, and look at here, I got a third one. I'm pointed all over the place. Now, it went into this part, which is the abrupt transition glue, and then it comes out this way into the actual tendon fibrils, and you can see right there is abrupt transition, you see it? And then you go into where it's highly mineralized for the first couple of you know, a very short distance, and you see all the fibers. That's the fibers of muscles. And now you look at it carefully, you see now those are the little blood vessels that are in the side, and you see those in the side of caves, or the caves in the side of mountains and things. That's all. You see, there's another abrupt transition. This is what happens. It comes from here to here to here to here, and then there's another one out here where it broke right off. So that is the way muscle, tendon turns into muscle. And like I said, back in the beginning here, back right here, that is the exact same blocks of stone that built Baalbek. That's just a fact. All right, your next word is vein, and that is number 7. All right, vein number 7. Now listen. When I show mud fossils, I always look for the colors, and I look for the colors of blood, which the red is FeO2 or FeO3 blood, ferrous oxide with the 3 oxygens, and FeO2 is the deoxygenated blood, and that is blue in the body, and it's black in mud fossils, and they're both iron, and they're just different oxides. Now, and everything else in the body goes in that same vein. It works that same way. Now, what I stumbled on was the transition metals. And a transition metal is a metal that does not have complete, like say they don't have complete electrons in all of their orbits. Normally they fill and they fill and they fill, and then the last one is sort of not full. Well, this time it fills, and then there's a space that's filled, and next is missing in the next one. And then it goes up to the next one that's got some more. That's a transition metal. And what happens is in the body, they give and take those transitions. This isn't really any atomic model, but I'm just bouncing around. They give it away and they take one in, and that's the transitions. And it's done by pHs and different reactions between other molecules. All right, primarily it's pH driven. And that is what you live on. You live because of these metals. If you didn't have these metals, you'd just fall over dead. Now, how do you get the metals? Well, I can tell you how you get the metals. Bacteria makes the metals for you. Bacteria concentrates those metals in your gut. And they say, okay, I'm the guy that collects the vanadium. And I'm the guy that collects the +4 vanadium, and I'm going to go gobble it all up, and they collect it, and then they deliver it into the blood to say, okay, here's some +4 vanadium, and he says, okay, I got to go deliver that to the guy's left shoulder because it's bothering him. They all have a purpose. They all have a purpose. Now, what happens is these bacteria, there's all different bacteria. Half of our body is made out of bacteria, you know. You're not even half of you isn't even you. Anyway, the other half of you that isn't you is bacteria, and that half of you that isn't you is doing the job to make you you. Understand? So if you're bacteria, you go in and assault your bacteria and say, oh, give me some of those antibiotics, I want to just go kill my bacteria. That's insanity. And that's what people are doing. And they just don't understand. Now you're going to be chronically ill for the rest of your life. And unless you get your bacteria under control and get them all back in there doing their jobs. Otherwise, it says, I need some vanadium. He says, I can't help you. I said, what happened? He said, well, the guy used to do the vanadium, they killed him. So I can't help you. And he said, well, that hurts. My left shoulder hurts now. Now my right shoulder, my ankle too. He said, well, you guess what? Your thumbs are going to hurt pretty soon too. Pretty soon it'll be your nose. And I nothing I can do for you until you get some more of that bacteria in here to collect up that stuff. And the reason it does it is exactly identical to the waste treatment plants. Identical. They put this bacteria in there and they say, oh, we'll go out and collect up the heavy metals. Okay, no problem. They go out and they do that. Same thing they do in your body. And they work in amongst where all that stuff has been processed. It goes in your body, gets broken down, and throw some acid in there when it gets in your stomach. And that is what liberates the metals. If you don't go to less than 5.6 pH, iron will not come into a solution that is absorbable into your body. So it goes into your stomach, and it's real low down there, but anyway, it breaks it all out, and they call it cracking the bonds. The iron is liberated from what they call ligands that surround it and keep it in that, it's called metal complexes, and they're chelated, or chelated. I call it chelated because it starts with a CH. Anyway, they're coated with these molecules, and when it gets in acid, it breaks the molecules off, to figure it that way. And then they can go in, and then your body can say, hey, you got any iron? He said, yeah, there's some over here. And they get you the iron. This is, what about some gold? Oh, yeah, we got gold. The guy over there's got some gold. Well, if the guy says he's getting the gold, it's dead. It's all over. So you have to think about making sure that your bacteria is working correctly. Otherwise, you're going to be sick, and your skin will be bad, your hair will fall out, everything is good. You are a system that is so complex. Let me show you. Look at these colors, and I'm going to show you something that's going to make sense to you, I hope. All right, this is a mud fossil heart, but they call it opal, and it is opal because it's been mud fossilized, which is wet fossilization in blood, continuous, soaked in blood until all of the minerals became stabilized. And here's the process. All of the tissues in your body, these are the arterial walls, the ventricle walls, these are the heartstrings and so forth, all of the different articulation of the heart that does different things, have all different colors. And the reason they have different colors is because they're different minerals inside your body. They are different molecules, and those molecules need exactly certain other metals, transition metals, to do their job, giving and taking, because they don't just sit there and do what they're doing like rubber bands. They need something to make them exist and to feed them and to give them the things they need to do the jobs they need. And the things that do that are the transition metals. They give and they take, they transition. Give me some of this, take some of that away from here. It's poisoning me. Give me some more oxygen. I want an oxygen from you. I want some, whatever the molecules are. And you can see there's a huge variety. You just saw what the transition metals look like, and they are all these different colors. So this is my point. Your next word is and that is number 8. I'm going to throw you another one too. R is number 2. A-R-E. R is number 2. All right, so now let's start putting this stuff together. We got creatures with blood in them. All right, that blood contains metals. Those metals are transition metals, and and they also contain all kinds of other chemicals, which are what they call volatile organic compounds. What does that mean? Volatile means they go away easily. Organic means they're from creatures. Compounds means oxygen, carbon dioxide, all that kind of stuff. And that sublimates, or carbon doesn't sublimate off, it's the highest one. But all the different gaseous things blow out of you and expand and leave and so forth. But the metals and that kind of stuff, those are more stable. And because they normally give and take, and they're still in an aqueous solution, aqueous water or fluid, and they're at like a 7.4 pH, they don't even hardly know they're dead. They're just floating around in wetness like they always do at the same pH is good, except they're saying, hey, well, what happened, man? I can't give up my stuff. Nobody's giving me anything. What happened to me? And somewhere along the line it says, well, I don't know, the guy, I don't know, he's not doing anything right now. Go find somebody to pair up with and get stable. And all the blood says, hey, you got any ferrous oxides, you got any this red, so it does whatever it does, and it stabilizes. And that stabilizes. And eventually they stabilize. It's just the way it works. So the point being is get your bacteria right. Make sure you got plenty of moisture in your system, and it'll work fine. And you won't have chronic diseases. Chronic diseases are the fact that you've destroyed the ability for your body to process the things that you put in it. You're a chemical factory. The stuff comes in, gets broken down, it gets, an alchemist comes in there and says, let me give you some acid, I'll put it on there and I'll fracture these things out. Then your body will use them, and then everything will be fine. And then you'll have enough stuff, and make sure all the bacteria is there. Otherwise, you're going to poop this stuff out. You never even use it. So what do? We take antibiotics. All I could say is, I don't know what to say. Anyway, the next one is 5 is the, and another the is 3. I'm going to throw you another one. 14 is of. And what the heck, I'm going to throw them all out right now because we're done here. As far as I'm concerned, you should be able to find the gold. It's going to collect. And it's going to collect because it settles. And there are certain places in the body that it's more dense than other places. And those places is where it will settle. And my next video is going to show how to take a drill rig, like you drill for water, and go out, and I will show you exactly, not close, but exactly where to drill into the correct place to find gold. And then it would have to be excavated out of there, but it's not a big deal. And the reason I'm doing this, so let's go back to the point of why I'm doing this. The reason I'm giving, because to me, I have no, gold is shiny stuff that, and I don't really care much for shiny stuff. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want people to pay attention to their real history, and they only pay attention if there's money involved. And there's going to be so much gold because there was 400,000 giants. This was written. It was written. There's 409,000 giants. There's so much history that is so very, very precise and so overlooked and so thought of as a myth and laughed at and all this business. Anyway, here's the rest of your words. 4 is feet, and quantity is 13, and deepest is 6. All right. In the next video that's going to come out, I'm going to show you a diagram and show you exactly where to go on the earth to the locations where there is vast quantities of gold. Okay, this is Crowley Lake. That is hair from a giant creature. That's the black part, which is the venal blood, used blood, and that's the red part. This is kaolin clay, which is what you find in facial skin. It's the fine skin, and they make fine china out of it, actually. And I almost messed up. Your last and final word, which you must have, is deepest, number 6. Put them all in an order. Anybody that doesn't understand, get back to me, and I want you to comment on this, because if you don't comment, I'm not even going to do the other video, because people don't pay attention to this stuff. I don't even know if anybody watches my stuff. Most of it. It's very, very rarely seen, and very few comments. So I'm going to wait until I get some comments and see if anybody really is interested in this. Thank you.